Welcome to our design learning session. This is our second learning session in this series of usability testing. One of our goals, this specific quarter is to, get to familiarize ourselves with, usability testing and what usability is. As we, indulge more into, getting ready, to embrace, user experience and, making it part of our work, making it part of our design work as we actually progress continuously. So it's really good for someone to always, get to understand what affects users the most and know what are they interested in. So today's learning session is going to be about this aesthetic usability effect. I've been talking about aesthetics, but what you have to know is there is this effect called the aesthetic usability effect. Yes, it does exist on different levels during user research, during testing, usability tests, during real customer usage of your given product. This effect can come up. So this effect today, because last time I actually promised, and I was like, I would want us to explore what aesthetics are and how they can actually affect a specific piece of design together with the users. How aesthetics directly relate to a specific user interacting with your product. Aesthetics is how a specific product looks like, or the end outcome of something, how it looks like, the colors, the images, the lines, how you play around with form in a creative way to make sure that this user is enticed, to make sure that their emotions are awakened by your design, so that they actually interact with it visually and, most importantly, on an emotional level. Yes, that is what is really important. So guys, this effect right here, I'm not the one who made it up. It is by the Nelson Norman group. They formed this group. It's sort of like a usability group that deals mostly with user experience and usability concepts, research, testing, but what you have to know is they mostly do with coming up with research or doing research and then coming up with results and publishing them through this group. Yeah, that is what they do. So they came up with this effect right here, and they say that users are more tolerant of minor usability issues when they find an interface visually appealing. Yes, that is what this effect actually means. And today we want to explore how aesthetics affect user experience. That is what we want to explore today, because it is something I've been talking about night and day. Every time we meet, I've been talking about aesthetics, but they do play a very huge role once it comes to how the users will actually use your end product and how it will affect them. Because how something looks like and how it's used, sometimes someone can actually judge a specific given application based off of how it looks rather than how it functions. So essentially that is what this aesthetic usability effect is about. What it says is that if at all someone lands on a beautifully designed website, then they might ignore minor. I think you can see the keyword here is minor. Now I really like keywords, guys. and they really help you once you're reading. Once you're reading, I want to say that people don't actually read. They scan. They scan information. And once they're scanning, they're looking for keywords. So when someone is reading a given piece of text, they're always looking for those keywords so they can just pick those keywords, and then the brain can automatically join these other remaining words to make sense. That's how people read. But the keyword here is minor usability. So if at all someone lands on your given digital product and it really looks good, they might forego these minor usability issues. So if it's minor usability issues, when they find an interface visually appealing. So sometimes once we design something that is really good, yes, you might go away with some usability issues. Usability issues include 1, having a navigation that is confusing. 2, poor discoverability when things are not findable. 3, when the value proposition of a given sort of like website is it's vague. Then there are other usability issues. The list continues. But you'll find out that if at all they are minor, for example, you've maybe forgotten to maybe add what they call labels to these form inputs. Some people actually forget those labels. That is a minor usability issue. Now, if at all your website looks good, people might be forgiving. But you'll find out that as we conclude this learning session, you find out that this usability effect can actually affect you negatively, because what you have to understand that this effect only helps you if it's the customers that have discovered it when your product is already in the market, and it's an actual customer who is interacting with your product and have landed onto your website, and it really looks good, but then there are some usability issues. They'll be forgiving, because that cannot actually limit them from accomplishing specific tasks on your website, so they will be forgiving. Now, sometimes as we go ahead, you'll find out that this effect, once it is actually discovered within, maybe once you're doing user research, once you're doing these early tasks, like carrying out the first usability tests on your product, and then validating it through other sort of like stakeholders, plus other internal members. Once you come into contact with this aesthetic usability effect when the product is not yet rolled out, then that is a very negative sign. Let me give an example. Sometimes when people are reviewing our designs, they might be like, that really looks good, that form looks good, that header looks good, this really looks good. But sometimes they might say that when they've interacted with this system using a similar design and they've failed to achieve something using that design, then what they can actually comment about the design is, it just looks good, ABCD looks good, but without giving proper thought to what they're actually doing. So once you notice such signs here and there, then you just have to get to know it that you're in for an aesthetic usability effect. Once someone is reviewing your design and they are testing it using maybe a real sort of like site that is in production, and they fail to complete a specific task, for example, booking a trip, or maybe completing something, purchasing something, or completing a session, completing your payroll, ABCD. If at all someone fails to do that, and all they can actually comment on is how good your design is, then trust me, you have fallen, or you've actually experienced this aesthetic usability effect. This means that your design aesthetically looks good, but it has failed to solve a specific problem, or it has failed to serve its purpose, and its core value has failed to be clearly outlined, and it cannot provide that specific value, because usability, I've said this so many times, but usability is about the usage of things. What is what you are designing being used for, or what is it going to be used for? So guys, I've spent quite some time on this definition and this term, because it's quite a new term for us. We've been talking about usability and aesthetics, but this term right here does exist. You can actually Google it. You can search for it in other search browsers and see what they have to say. But at the core, research was actually done on around either 32 or 27 ATM machines by around two colleagues that did some research in 2004, and they found out that they actually tested this digital, I think it could have been a digital sort of like withdrawing system. So they tested it on over 200 members, and the majority say that it's better to actually have something that will be aesthetically pleasing once you look at it, without even getting to know whether it functions, than having something that might be functioning, but then it's not aesthetically pleasing, or it may say something here and there, although you might be knowing that it works. So without wasting any further time, guys, please always look out not to be a victim to this effect in the early stages of your design process. When validating your designs, always look out for comments such as "that thing is good" without a reason, or maybe sometimes someone can be like that thing is good without a reason, and it might not be a problem, but you have to watch what people actually do and take that at least for the bare minimum of the truth rather than what they say. Someone can fail to do something with your design and then they praise it. Someone can praise your design before even getting to understand what it does, or without any prior knowledge of what it's doing. Watch out for such comments. This really looks good, this is good. Always ask yourself, why have they said so? And as we shall see, this effect actually comes into play in so many areas. Now, aesthetics in design, it's just about making things look good. And you'll find out that in most cases, most individuals might think that it's really hard to find the right visuals, the story construction, the storytelling, branding, color correlation, form interplay, typography, the interplay of graphics and images, illustrations, digital artwork, icons, matching iconography, or the icons with the real design that you're actually coming up with, or the graphics of the design. For example, I've actually used this example from this very, very good designer on Dribble. So I can't actually pronounce his name, but I think, let me try. He's called Pontianak. Okay. I think, okay, that's his name, but he's really good. I think you can see he really plays around with color, illustrations, icons, typography, together with the graphics to come up with a powerful user interface. I think to me this is really good, and without even getting to know much about it, it's all about traveling and camping. You don't have to even look for anything else. It's all about that. I won't actually say much about it. I just wanted to show you what aesthetics mean. Now, a design can have forms without aesthetics. So you can have the bare blocks without the colors and these fields, and they're just bare without any added sort of like colors, backgrounds, curved edges of these buttons, making sure that you have this differentiation in the colors of the text, the background, having the hierarchy, playing around with the principles together with the elements. I think aesthetics, it's just understanding the elements of design and playing around with them in a creative manner to come up with something that is really interesting. I also admire this designer, and I hope that one day I become as good as he is in terms of playing around with all of these forms to come up with something that is eye-catching. You have to actually realize that you have to come up with designs that are eye-catching, because that is what this effect is about. If you want people in the outside world or real users to use your product without any say so or doubts or I don't know, without holding themselves onto anything, then you have to make sure that you play around with the aesthetics to entice them to use your site. Now, moving on, how do you notice this effect? I've already talked about these 2 points. I actually picked these sort of like 2 pieces of information from that Nelson Norman Group website that talks about this effect. So for them, they actually do tests, and in this first sort of like piece, they show you that they tested this website onto someone, and that someone really liked that sort of like website, the way it looked like, its colors. Although they failed to actually accomplish a specific task, they got some problems or some difficulty. She was able to complete her task, but with difficulty. I think you can see this statement actually brings it out quite well. However, in a questionnaire, she rated the site very highly in ease of use. It's the colors they used, she said. She failed. Okay, she experienced difficulty in completing her task, but eventually she was like, the colors are good and the photographs are good. So the positive emotional response caused by the aesthetic appeal of the website helped mask its usability issues. Sometimes I actually like bringing this information the way it is from those colleagues or from those individuals, because there is a way they explain these concepts in a very down to earth manner, and you can actually understand if I told you someone who really appreciates these concepts. So on another test they actually made, then they tested this website, and the individual they used to test the website on was like, she liked the photos, these huge photos used on this specific website. She liked the huge photos, but then as she was using the website, she felt like these photos were actually distracting her because they were on every page. I think you can see. At first she likes all of these photos that actually make the website look nice, but down the road, she's like, no, I think these photos are bringing an issue. I think you can see aesthetics can affect user experience in so many ways. So you have to have a balance between the aesthetics and how they affect people's emotions while they're using your site. Because sometimes it's really easy to design based off of requirements, if I may say. We talked about this in my last usability sort of like learning session. We talked about requirements as being very crucial. But design is a process, and as you actually gain experience, you realize that at first you will strive to design for requirements. Then once you're there, you will strive to design for emotions. Don Norman has an entire book dedicated to emotional design, and actually he called it emotional design. So if you want to truly understand how to design for that other level, which is called the emotions, and this is where the aesthetics actually kick in, and this is where aesthetics are very, very important, because as you realize, as you transition, you reach this level and you really require to get to do this type of designing for emotions. So guys, this is actually what happened in this other test. You can actually read through and get to understand how how you can notice this effect through testing and putting your product in front of real users. This can be your colleagues, this can be anyone. It can actually be yourself. You can be using your own design, and you realize you're taken away by a specific form of design, and yet this actually abstracts, or let me just say obstructs the real way this website or this specific feature where this form is would have been used. So guys, I hope I'm not confusing you, but let's move on. Questions will come in. Let me just take you through, then questions will come in. The other thing is what actually causes that effect is the shift in needs. Just like I told you, people are always shifting. A normal human being will have only what they call psychological needs: air, water, food, shelter, blah blah. No, now as they become better individuals, their needs actually transition. Now you find out that as someone actually becomes a better individual, let me just use that word better, because this is a pyramid, and you can actually read about this pyramid right here. It demonstrates it's Maslow's pyramid, demonstrating the hierarchy of needs. As you become a better individual, your needs change. As you get more money, as you get more education, more experience, more everything, your needs shift. As designers, get to know that the people you're designing for are changing. Down here, we have the normal human being who is going to transition through these needs. At first, it's only food and shelter. Then you need personal security, which is employment. Then you need belonging. You need a family, a wife, blah blah. After getting money, then the esteem. You need to build your self-esteem in order to survive in the outside world. Then self-actualization. You need to get to know who you are. This is where the issue comes in. There are people who understand who they are, and you have to design for them in order to convince them that what you've designed for them can actually be usable and it looks nice. So what this pyramid shows is that people become sophisticated as they actually grow. So your design also has to actually cater for this pyramid. Moving on, I would actually want to make a conclusion to this presentation by this specific piece of information that I actually also got from a specific website. Now, I want to encourage you guys to always read different pieces of information, LinkedIn articles, blah blah, Twitter. There's always information coming in. Now, this on this website, they say that Aaron Walter, I think Aaron Walter is a designer. He mentioned in his book and in his idea, we only get not only proof of the aesthetic and emotionality importance, but also a hint of being reasonable with the limited nature of these effects. Now, this actually concludes that you have to make sure that there's a balance between your aesthetics and what they are finally presenting to the end consumer or to someone actually consuming your aesthetic, because our aesthetics are just consumed. For example, you might enter a very expensive hotel that has got all these amenities. Now, sometimes once you enter a reception, this reception has got these flowers, it has got these I don't know how they call them, these structures that spill water from these flower vases. Then you have like a very good air conditioner. You have frames of expensive art pieces hung on the walls. The couches are nice, they're comfortable. The room smells nice, the reception smells nice. So all those things are actually aesthetics. It's just making sure that things look good, smell good. So as you enter the room, the reception, you consume all of these aesthetics using your eyes, your breath, your senses. It's the same thing on the web. People consume their aesthetics using their eyes. You have to make sure that there is final sense or there is final value your aesthetics are actually contributing. Now, the beauty and emotional appeal of the digital product will definitely help users interact with it more straightforwardly, trust it faster, and be tolerant of minor issues. I think you can see the beauty and emotional appeal of the digital product. If it is good, if it looks nice, then people will interact it, straightforward. They won't be confused. Where can I go? What can I do? What's this? It will be very smooth because it looks good. Moving forward, the other conclusions I picked up. Yes, there's actually this nice one from that NNG group. They say that users are more likely to want to try a visually appealing website. Yes, this is actually the definition, and they will be more patient with minor issues. But what is more interesting is this downer part right here, which says, however, this effect is at its strongest when the aesthetics serve to support and enhance the content and functionality of the site. Guys, don't quote me wrong here. These aesthetics, they only serve purpose, or this effect it only serves purpose. The aesthetic usability effect only serves purpose once the aesthetics serve to support and enhance the content and functionality of the site. This is something I've been telling you, and that is actually why today's presentation has just been about picking these specific pieces of information here and there, so that I do not just tell you things and you'll be like, it seems Rogers just dreams about these things and he tells them to us. No, these things are being talked about by these individuals and they're out there. So you have to make sure that every aesthetic, every nice looking thing you add onto your design supports the functionality. Now, I think Apple, ever since Apple started designing its website, it is one of the companies that has managed to actually achieve this balance. Having a balance between aesthetics and functionality is one of the hardest achievement to get. And once you get it as an organization, then you've found your true purpose that you can actually give to your consumers endlessly. Apple's success is an excellent example of the competitive advantage of paying attention to aesthetics. They also do match that with the functionality. That finally brings us to this graph, and then we actually came up with this graph. So this graph actually just shows us that user experience depends on two variables. I don't know if you guys know the science behind these graphs and all of that, but the elements on the y-axis and the y-axis, this is the y-axis. These elements depend on the elements or variables on the x-axis. Now, for you to achieve user experience, or for you to achieve higher user experience, you have to make sure that the UI of the aesthetics match with the functionality. The lower the aesthetics, the lower the functionality, because sometimes you might be having a website that actually works when the functionality is high, but with a poor UI. Trust me, in the eyes of the user, they will be like, your site doesn't function because it looks poorly or it doesn't look good. Now, if you have a website that actually has a very high UI or very good aesthetics up here, then do you know what the users will say? They'll be like, wow, it looks good, maybe its functionality is also good. I think you're also having a high functionality, even if it's not true. This effect actually supports this graph. So this is my conclusion to this effect. So this effect, the aesthetic usability effect, brings us to this graph. It says that your website or your digital product, in the eyes of the users, its functionality does not really matter that much. It's the UI and the aesthetics. It's how it looks like, that will give, marks to the functionality. Now, sometimes this is wrong. Sometimes this is right. So guys, yeah, that was it. Today's presentation was just about giving you this balance and showing you that user experience does not only rely on how your UI or the aesthetics you actually put, but the functionality also matters. Think about whatever you're adding onto your website will help the users. So that was it, guys. Just to take you through real quick, you will find out that these websites have actually stood out in terms of playing with this graph, and most of them, their experience is quite high because they've actually played around with the aesthetics together with the functionality. So I just wanted to give you these examples, then we can move into the questions. So one of these examples is Shopify. Shopify plays around with its colors. It has got quite an interesting color palette of that green, dark green, lemon. It plays with all the greens in the world to make sure that their brand comes out quite good. They are monochrome, but they're sweet and good. They've been bringing yellow, the shades. Trust me, you can go that way. This site also does the same thing. They have got a very good UI. It's very simple. You only do one thing, which is download. The other website is this one right here, which is called DoorDash. Very good landing page. It's sweet, red all the way from top until down this side where there are these other sections. This right here, I see. So they just have red, but it's good. It's appetizing. Then we have this popular one called Wise, TransferWise. I think you can see color. Lately, I've also started actually playing with a lot of color because Wow, are you seeing these guys? Hey, these guys, yeah, they've also invested in UX, showing you the countries where they operate, or the currencies. Actually, this should be the currencies, because I actually use Wise. They have a very good, outstanding landing page. I think you can see. Is that animation? It really looks good. Moving on to yes, this other popular one called Airbnb, for booking where to sleep and all that. But they also have a very good landing page, and these companies actually have quite a very huge number of landing pages, because they use them to sell different products and all of that. So it might depend. Now this one actually could have been for maybe selling specific homes, or checking out a specific cost. But once you go back to their page, it also looks good, the way they organize their homes and all of that. But guys, yeah, that was it. One that really stood out was this animation for me. Wise, they've actually, yeah, they've improved. Yes, guys, that was it. Questions can start coming in now.